Okay.
Read
No,
graduation.
no. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the September 20th, 2022 Board of Education meeting to order. This meeting is held in the Roselle Park High School auditorium. It is an open session of the Roselle Park Board of Education held under the Open Public Meetings Act of the state of New Jersey. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, local sources, the Home News Tribune, the Borough Clerk, school offices, and the district website. Roll call, please.
President Harms,
Yes.
Vice President Carlstone, Paul Vimonte, Mark Fernandez,
Here.
Z Infante,
Here.
Dr. Kirtland,
Here.
Jennifer McCarr,
Here.
Constance Quintella,
Here.
Michael Ann Reagan.
Here.
Here, the quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let it be resolved that the Roselle Park Board of Education meeting hereby convenes to the executive session for discussion of the following subjects: personnel and attorney-client privilege. It is anticipated that the executive session will take approximately 60 minutes. The board may take action during public session. The board shall return to public session following the executive session at approximately 7 p.m. The minutes of the executive session shall be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists. Can I have a motion to go into executive? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will be going to executive session. Can tell,
Hey, Jen.
what? Pedro. Pedro. I'd like to have a motion to go back into open.
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're back in open. At this time, I'd like to open up to the public portion on agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward and state your name and address, and you are allowed 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public portion on agenda items. Thank you. Do we have any committee meetings?
Yes, President Harms, I have a committee report.
Thank you.
First, I have two reports that I'd like to give this evening. The first is in regards to superintendent search. So as I previously mentioned, the committee wanted to gather community and staff input on what qualifications each group would like to see in a superintendent. And the links for each survey went live yesterday. For staff, they are to use the link that was emailed to them. For the community, you're welcome to use the link that was also emailed to you. However, there's also the link is available on our district website. And then just as a reminder, this information is going to be used to help create interview questions and decide which candidates will move forward in the process. The survey closes on October 18th, but I would encourage everyone to complete it as soon as possible. My second report is related to my attendance to the Union County School Board Association meeting, which was last week on September 14th. I was recently appointed to the Board of Directors for the New Jersey School Board Association as an alternate delegate and representative for Union County. And so as such, I had the pleasure of attending my first meeting in this new position at Kean University. So at this meeting, there was a welcome address from the president, Lynn Anderson Pearson, who was on the Plainfield Board of Ed, and Dr. Timothy Purnell, who is the new executive director for New Jersey School Board Association. There was also a presentation by John Burns, who is the New Jersey School Board Association attorney, and he provided us with updates on recent legislation. So one is the creation of a threat assessment team. So each district is going to be required to adopt a new policy regarding this topic and create a threat assessment team beginning in the 2023-2024 school year. New Jersey School Board is currently working on guidelines around this process, and they offer free training to threat assessment teams as well. Another important piece of legislation is the Working Class Families Anti-Hunger Act, which is to provide new financial guidelines for providing breakfast and lunch to families who qualify. And then also some pending legislation coming down the pipeline. Since there's an increase in staff shortages of certified and non-certified employees, New Jersey School Boards is working on ways to assist districts to help with hiring qualified staff. Also placing police in school and polling places to help maintain order and security during elections. Critical incident mapping by providing law enforcement access to floor plans and aerial images of school facilities in advance of a critical situation, and creating legislation around more transparency with the new health curriculum, including an annual public comment period where the public is able to give their input on the curriculum. The topic of this meeting was related to school security. And so this presentation was given by Jeff Gale, who is the director of the New Jersey Department of Education Office of Preparedness and Emergency Planning. And so there are a few things that he said that each district should kind of abide by. First is there are things that the BOE cannot share regarding safety and security measures, because once these things become public, the BOE can no longer safeguard students and staff. So certain things like the school safety plan will also be exempt from being subject to an OPRA request. For the 2023-2024 school year, districts are to have in place a behavioral risk team, which consists of administration, teaching staff member, school nurse, school counselor, and anyone who is responsible for assessing student behavior. The DOE has secured a $1 million grant from the federal government to provide free training to districts to help develop requirements and guidelines for that team. The Office of Preparedness and Emergency Planning also offers programs on security assessment, and they do these presentations to staff, the BOE, and the community. And also, my last thing is I would like to encourage my fellow board members to come to the next meeting. It's a good way to collaborate with other districts and see how other board members conduct their meetings and interact with the community. And so the next meeting is going to be in mid-November, and I will be able to give the exact date at our next meeting in October. And that concludes my reports. Thank you, President Harms.
Thank you. Do you have any other committee reports?
Yes, President Harms. In regards to the Operations Committee, we have been having discussions about policy and reviewing our policy. And so we currently have a relationship with the New Jersey School Boards Association, and we'll continue to have that relationship. But when it comes to reviewing policy, we are looking into entering a relationship with a company called Strauss Esme, if I'm correct. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And they represent or provide services to the majority of districts in the county when it comes to policy and writing and assessing that. So we are looking into that relationship, and hopefully we'll be able to have a more comprehensive and thorough look at our policies on a more regular and consistent basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Garrido.
Thank you, Mr. Harms. Good evening, everyone. Tonight's report is actually very brief. We're into our second full week of school. Things are going well in all of our buildings. I do want to remind parents, there have been some changes to the procedures for COVID, and students who test positive and then the quarantining period is on the website. The nurses have updated all of the information that's required for districts. Please check the website to see the updates. If you have any questions, any concerns regarding COVID or anything else health wise, please contact the school nurse. Dr. Kirkland did mention school security. Obviously, that's one of our, it's number one priority to keep our students safe and secure. That's, as you all know, we have an SRO at the high school. It's going extremely well there. And we are also looking at the other buildings to ensure security. We have our safety plans. We have our drills that are done on a monthly basis. So that's definitely a priority for the district to make sure that our students and staff are secure and safe. So please make sure you follow our visitors policy as well. It is quite strict, but it is to protect your children. Please do that. Back to school nights began last night with the Aldine Back to School Night, and they're going to go. They will be moving forward the next 2 weeks. Please attend Back to School Night. It's such an important event. That's where you learn and you really gain knowledge of what's going on in your children's school, right from the teachers, from the principals, and other staff members there. So please make it a priority to attend those Back to School Nights. And Mr. Harms, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move into the agenda. And then under policies, addendum 1, district policy, first reading, harassment, intimidation, bullying. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Do I have a second? Somebody second, right? I heard. Okay, I didn't. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone,
Yes.
Paul
Yes.
Diamante,
Yes.
Mark Fernandez,
Yes.
Z Infante,
Yes.
Dr. Kirkland,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr,
Yes.
Constance Quintella,
Yes.
Michael N. Regan,
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. As we move on, personnel, agenda items 2 through 19 and addenda item 1 through 3. 2, additional high school additional teachers and classes 2022 to 2023. District substitutes. 4, staff appointment. 5, additional middle school extracurricular Advisors, 2022, 2023. 6, revision of staff appointment. 7, maternity leave of absence. 8, additional lunch proctor personnel. 9, change of assignments, transfers. 10, federal grant salary allocations for 2022, 2023. 11, detention proctors. 12, Title I AP tutoral ESSER ARP Beyond School Day Program. 13, staff reassignments. Resignations, I'm sorry. 14, project-based learning. 15, paraprofessional additional hours. 16, additional instructional support stipends. 17, standard-based instructional support program. 18, mentoring, and 19, revision of Saturday school pay. And then addenda items 1 through 3 under personnel. 1, staff retirement. 2, Title I social emotional learning SEL enrichment program. And number 3, staff appointments. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone?
Yes.
Paul Bimonte? Mark Fernandez?
Yes.
Z Infante?
Yes.
Dr. Kirtland?
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr?
Yes.
Constance Quintella?
Yes.
Michael M. Regan?
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. Under education, agenda items 20 through 24 and addendum item 4. 20, curriculum adoption. 21, educational programs. 22, district emergency virtual or remote instructional plan. 23, educational trip request. 24, conference attendance request. And addenda item under education, number 4, additional conferences attendance request. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone?
Yes.
Paul Bimonte?
Yes.
Mark Fernandez?
Yes.
Z Infante?
Yes.
Dr. Kirtland?
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr?
No to number 20, yes to everything else.
Constance Quintella?
Yes.
Michael M. Regan?
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. Business agenda items 25 through 34 and addenda items 5 through 8. 25, monthly certifications. 26, approval of bills. 27, approval of minutes. 28, secretary treasurer's report. 29, budget transfers. 30, additional intern affiliation student. 31, use of buildings and grounds. 32, disposal of textbooks. 33, federal grant amendment. 34, educational service contract. And agenda items under business 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Close unused account. 6, additional approval bills. 7, grant application, and 8, professional services contract. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone?
Yes.
Paul Bimonte? Mark Fernandez?
Yes.
Z Infante?
Yes.
Dr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr?
Yes.
Constance Quintella?
Yes, with an abstention on 31J.
Michael M. Regan?
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. As we move on, is there any continuing business? Is there any new business? At this time, we'll move on to the public participation. Anyone wishing to speak on any item, please come forward, state your name and address, and you can speak for 3 minutes.
Can you hear me? Hi, my name is Susie Biamonte, and I live at 32 East Clay Avenue. I wanted to bring to the board's attention at Robert Gordon School what's going on at lunchtime. The administration of Robert Gordon implemented mindful eating during lunch, or in other words, silence in the lunchroom. It has been brought to my attention that if a child speaks during lunch, some children have been yelled at, some have been tapped on the shoulder and screamed at in their ear, some have been singled out and sent to a table in the back of the cafeteria to sit alone, and some have been singled out and put to stand at the fence outside during recess for 5 minutes because they were talking at the lunch table. When did lunchtime at Robert Gordon School become like a concentration camp? Lunchtime is the children's only outlet to talk and laugh with their friends in the cafeteria and during recess. It's one thing to say, don't talk with your mouth full or don't talk while chewing, but complete silence in the cafeteria. And I also understand some parents have been told 10 minutes silence, 10 minutes of eating, I believe completely goes against the original intent of mindful eating. In a child's mind, they think, well, let me shove this food down my throat so I can then talk with my friends. I know Mr. Garrido recently observed a few lunches at Robert Gordon, and he observed something totally different. But how can multiple students and parents complaining about this be wrong? I do appreciate his efforts, but I question if everyone was on their best behavior because of his presence. Mindful eating is described as an approach to food that focuses on individual sensual awareness of the food and their experience of the food. Dictionary.com also states the practice of eating with the express purpose of savoring every flavor, aroma, and texture of the food, as usually accomplished through appreciation of food and slow ingestion. Nowhere did I find mindful eating means no talking in the cafeteria. At the elementary level in Roselle Park, children have 25 minutes to eat lunch and 20 minutes for recess. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that students get at least 20 minutes for lunch and explains that 20 minutes means to actually sit down and eat, excluding time from waiting in line or walking from class to the cafeteria. In additional mindful eating or silent lunch, the disciplinary actions taken at Robert Gordon because children talk during lunch, I feel is extreme. Children develop complexes and emotional problems and get labeled as the bad kid when they are singled out in inappropriate ways. To me, being taught a lesson from running in the street, cursing, hitting, kicking, means a discussion of what could possibly happen and needing to miss a recess. It's understandable. But being made to stand on a fence for talking in a cafeteria doesn't sit right with me and many other parents. Lunchtime is a time for children to relax and talk with their friends in the cafeteria at recess. The mindful eating approach has been unproductive and a huge distraction to the students and parents during the first week of school. This is not what we want for our children. This is a public school and wrong. I am looking for assistance from the superintendent's office and board members to provide our children with a normal lunchroom where kids can be kids. Thank you in advance for your help.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diana Vivi. I live at 114 West Grant Avenue. I'm also here to express concerns about the lunch at Robert Gordon. My son is in 4th grade and he's been telling me since last year that they're not allowed to talk at lunch. Several kids have been put on the fence for doing so, not just talking in a normal tone, not yelling, they're not banging plates, they're not being disruptive, but just talking. On September 12th, my son was tapped on the shoulder and yelled at in his ear, and him, along with other children at the table, were put on the fence for 5 minutes. The principal was there and she stood on the fence with them and she spoke to them about what they could do better to get a full recess the next day. From my understanding, my son's been telling me about this since last year, since last March, and like Susie said, they're trying to implement mindful eating, which I feel like she said they're encouraged to not talk. So to me, that means that they can talk, but so then why are they getting reprimanded for talking? So I'm concerned about it. A lot of parents are upset about it, and I really hope that Robert Gordon can follow the other schools in the district. My daughter goes to the middle school. She's allowed to talk at lunch. She went to Robert Gordon. She was always allowed to talk at lunch. They also, my son told me the other day that they also now have to raise their hand to throw their garbage away, which, that's, to me, that's not a normal lunch. You should be able to get up, throw your garbage away. You should be able to talk with your friends as long as you're not being loud and disrespectful. So I just would hope that Robert Gordon can follow the rest of the schools in the district and be able to have a normal lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Edward Gade, 710 Hamilton Place, Roselle Park. President Harms, Vice President Carlstrom, board members. I spoke 2 times, and tonight is a few things. In regard to my complaint with Robert Gordon School and principal. Actually, I'd like to put this complaint on hold at this time. I see big improvement and positive reaction from the principal, and she putting all the efforts to communicate and making the building looks good and in and out. And in regard to my complaint with the middle school is the other way around. The situation is getting complicated and much worse, and they're adding up. And I'd like the board immediately to take action and make decisions regarding my complaints with them. And also I'm adding a few names to the list of disciplinary I provided last time. I'm adding Coach Eric Witweski for the reason I provided in my complaint in my emails. And also Councillor Murphy and Councillor Jerimaski, also for being misleading, and also for the reason I mentioned in my complaints. Apparently, many kids, many students, they get awarded and picked and placed in programs according to who their parents are or grandparents. And such other reasons we don't understand, and they get awarded many times. We hear student names get awarded like 10 times, and we for things or for sports we never even hear about. And I highlighted this, and I spoke to superintendent a few times. He never pay attention and never involved and never find any solution. And it make me wonder, why they exclude my daughter from activities. And last they excused her from football and for no reason. Actually, the parents stood here last year for criticizing the survey. I supported, I walked the street to support, and I took the stand to talk. Those parents, they didn't stand for me, and they didn't support, they didn't even try to talk to me. That's the much worse part. In this regard, I'd like to ask the board to excuse board member Piemonte voting for any decision or discussion or any recommendation regarding my complaints. Finally, in regard to Mr. Garrido, the superintendent leaving, I wished I could say something nice, but I want to say waited too long. Too old management and too classic. We're looking forward to superintendent understanding, open-minded, parent-oriented, on the floor all the time, looking here and there, and find solution for a parent like me. And doesn't come, I don't have to come and stand here for a few times and getting the nerve, and it's very stressful.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm finished. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Hi, my name's Sophia Pinto Figueroa, 619 Elm Street. I wanted to thank the board for recently sending out a survey to gather feedback for the new superintendent. My question to the board is, are there any other activities planned to gather feedback from the community, such as attending PTA meetings? The survey was only in one language. Is there plans to send it out in other languages? Just curious how the board is going to gather more feedback. My second thing that I wanted to mention is that Robert Gordon is hosting a Go Gold Day next Thursday, September 29th. This is in recognition of childhood cancer awareness, which has impacted many in our community. We are asking everyone to wear gold or yellow and to stop by our school at dismissal to support our pretzel and lemonade sale. All proceeds are going towards Alex Lemonade Stand, which funds cancer research. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll close the public participation. We have no other business on the agenda. Our next meeting is Tuesday, October 18th, here in the high school. At that time, we will start recognizing the schools.
It'll be Sherman School.
Sherman School will be the first one. So we'll be starting to recognize the students from each of the schools, starting next meeting. If there's nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn.
Jen?
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and everybody have a good night.